Good morning, everyone. I left Felele Olorishogo area of Ibadan this morning at 7:15, and this is exactly 8:15, and I am in Lagos. And I found out one thing. Over a distance of 80 kilometers, I didn't see one checkpoint, one police checkpoint. I did not see. I did not see an army checkpoint. Have you ever applied the Onitsha Enugu Express Road? Did you ever count the number of police checkpoints or military checkpoints on Enugu Onitsha Road? I'm still on the road. This is Lagos. Have you ever counted? Why is the Southeast so militarized, so policed, that you cannot go for more than 200 meters without a police checkpoint? I need to ask this question because the delay in journeys and the humiliation people go through needs to be pointed out. I'm saying a distance, same distance from Enugu to Onitsha. Can we pass through Amobi and so on? The boundary between Enugu and Anambra. The number of police checkpoints, collection points, the military. So they humiliate our people so badly that most times everybody in the vehicle is asked to come down and hands up. Tell me now, and I'll believe it. Is this hatred? Is this dislike? This is not good. Let us understand, is the Southeast still part of Nigeria? And what are leaders who can speak and make representations on behalf of Ndibo?
This particular concern has become a major source of worry for the indigenous people of the eastern region. The continued militarization, policing of the region has become a thorn in the flesh of the people, leading to several harassments and delay in journeys, molestations and subjugation of the people. I think it's high time to call the attention of the stakeholders, the governors of the Eastern region, the president in the person of Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and the senators in the Eastern region. Are they not concerned or perturbed with these developments? Just as the video you listened to revealed that every 200 meters you will get military or police checkpoints. What exactly is happening? And the question is the war still on? Why could a particular region be isolated and be treated in such a way? What some persons might say because of the insecurity going on, agitation and the rest of it. But that is not the only volatile regions. In fact, the presence of militarization and police in the region has inspired fear in the life of the residents because of the people are becoming apprehensive, losing confidence in the sincerity of these military people to provide security and guarantee their own safety. We've seen cases, even by experience. I have experienced such level of subjugation. You embark on a trip, at a point you are asked to disembark and use your leg to take a walk over 3 poles. Sometimes you'll be asked to raise your hands up. Are we victims of war? As this man expressed, are there no longer people who could speak for the entire Igbo race? Is the Southeast being considered as a conquered territory, not being part of Nigeria? So what is the essence of this continual militarization and presence of the security operatives? And yet you've had ever increasing escalations of robbery, kidnapping, and all sorts of menace going on. People are fleeing their communities, their homes. It's been reported the enforced disappearances. I mean, of the indigenous people. What exactly is happening? He said he transferred from Oyo State to Lagos. Over 80 kilometers, he did not see any checkpoints. So what exactly is happening? Likewise, the same experience in the north. You can traverse several hundreds of kilometers without sighting any security checkpoints or roadblocks. More sadly, it is not just about the conduct of operations to ensure the safety of the people. The people are now being oppressed or subjugated. We see cases of extortions from the motorists and the rest of them. Unauthorized search of people's bag, just as travelers. In one of the occasions, even I myself and other passengers' bag were emptied. I mean, your clothes you packed, you ironed for, of course, some programs or festival you were embarking on. The journey, everything was, even the underwears was, everything was just turned upside down. I begin to ask, what kind of search is this? It is very disturbing development, even when you have presented your ID cards and that wasn't enough. So the question is, are there no representatives of the Igbo in the National Assembly, in the House of Rep, that should call the government to caution? Because people are now living in fears and apprehensions, and they're not comfortable with that. If the same thing applies in the north, in the west, in the other regions, well, that should be considered as routine and normal. But this is out of place. All these roadblocks and manning of security or militarization of those travel routes is the reason why the transportation fare is at increase. It's at exponential hike. Because these drivers have to settle upon settle several points or security points. They have to settle them or roger them, whatever uh, word is being used to clear them. So that will definitely affect the cost of transportation. It's a very disturbing development. Where are the Ohanes and Igbos challenging P2B and everyone from the region who may want to contest for presidential election, saying that nobody can dare to contest with Tinubu? Well, for me, Ohanes and Igbo are just political party by extension. These are political interests, a group of people who have political interests and alignments. They are not representing the Igbos. Otherwise, they should have addressed this. After all, what is the numerical strength of the registered members? What is the numerical strength of the registered members of Ohaneze Ndị Igbo. So they don't have the power to represent or the right to represent the people. The reason why, of course, they are not even there for the people. How could all these things be happening and nobody is concerned? We've seen cases where the people were being kidnapped very close to the military checkpoints. Very close. The proximity to the military checkpoints is very disturbing. And some have alleged that sometimes the military personnel or those in military camouflage provide some shade for the people carrying out such nefarious acts. Needless to talk about the Igbo World Congress or World Igbo Congress. What exactly are these people doing? They've not gotten, or it is not time to ask. They have no clue of what is going on. The World Igbo Congress, don't we have representatives? What are the traditional rulers or elders doing? Everybody kept modes. And so many communities, not just that they are manning the roads to carry out their, of course, normal routine checks and the rest of it. No. Exploitations, suppressions going on alongside. That is another nightmare. As he said, the video clip you just watched at the beginning, he said, has the war not ended? I think it is time to remind Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the president, GCFR, that he has the statutory obligation to guarantee the safety and the life of the people, and not to force them or to make them live in fear and apprehension. Militarization of the eastern region should come to an end because it is still fear, agony, pain, trauma, and psychological upheaval on the people. The young, the aged, of course, are no longer comfortable with such development. It leads to delay in the hours of travel. Unnecessarily, you can every 200 kilometers you see roadblock. It also sends some negative signal on the psyche of the people. Why are they being treated as criminals? Even the most volatile regions of the north have not been manned or militarized or policed in such a way. Otherwise, the atrocity going on in the northern region should have been nabbed. Well, from the experience of the southeastern region, nothing have changed. There is ever increasing act of kidnapping. Now, who is now doing that same act of kidnapping? That should be a source of worry. People could no longer come back for festive periods or for any celebration and engagement they may have because of fear of being intimidated, harassed, exploited, and the rest of them, even to some extent, losing their lives. Could this be a premeditated intention to destabilize the Southeast economic roadmap and development? The Southeast has enjoyed relative peace, serenity, being considered as the region or home of hospitality. But that has changed in most recent time. Just about 1 decade ago, about 10 years ago, the entire experience has been very disturbing, very painful. The region that was once known as the most peaceful, serene, hospitable region has been turned to ghost towns. Several communities, the economic activities have been greatly disrupted, and people now live in fear and apprehension, not being certain of what will become of them in the next minute, in the next hour. We've seen cases where people in military camouflage open sporadic fires on indigenous people who are either going about their legitimate duties or staying in their own point of business, their shops and the rest of them. Most pronounced, especially in Anambra and Imo. Of course, there are escalations in Enugu and Ebony. In fact, what exactly is happening? Untold stories, unheard stories, something that is alien, that is strange to Alibo, something that is a taboo in Igboland is now in prevalence. You can imagine the Igbo indigenous people are now living in fear and apprehension. People are being killed, dying from all different fronts. The forest birds has become kidnappers, then unknown gunmen, and the rest of them. It's safe haven. We've had cases of women confessing or protesting. They are being molested, raped, horribly dealt with. Some shots at the point of kidnap who could not provide the ransom they demand. Of course, about 2 years ago or thereabout, the prelate of the Methodist Church of Nigeria had his own experience. It is not just about the poor. Even the worthless and meaningful individuals are still victims of this cruelty pervading the entire region. It is strange. I recall back in those days where you can go about your duties. You can even embark on trip or travels. If you're caught up with the night, you won't be so much scared to get to your destination. The only fear and apprehension that would deter you from going is because of this usual armed robbers, pickpockets, and the rest of them. But that is not the case today. In some regions or some area, once it's 6 o'clock, you disembark from your journey. You find a place to hide your head. You discontinue from that journey. But while before, there was a season, or yes, Christmas season, when we traveled with my family. Yeah, we spent, because of the build up, the traffic jam in that Bayelsa, I mean, Delta as Asaba Onitsha axis, we stayed the entire day. See, until lately, after 11 to 12, trapped in a horrific blockade. The traffic was unbearable. What the driver could do at the point is to park the car, and people have to sleep off because it is of course the day has been very hectic. But you hardly could try that now. Either the people are being accosted, intercepted, interrupted, or bunched into by the assailants and those bloody thirsty demons whose primary mission is to kill, steal, and destroy. When has it gotten to this point? Is it that some persons are enjoying what is going on, the displacement, disarray of the economic and societal activities in the eastern region, or are not perturbed or concerned because it does not affect their region? So anybody could go to places. What we should remind the governors and the senators and every other concerned or saddled with the responsibility to protect life and property to look into this and bring this to an end. It is a very disturbing development, honestly, that should become the concern of every individual, most importantly, those of Igbo extraction. Because as he rightly pointed out, he traversed a distance of 80 kilometers and he never cited any security checkpoint in his journey. A journey that took him about an hour or more, but you hardly could move in some regions 5 minutes away from other points, you'll be stopped. And that has become a routine or a routine. It's a very disturbing development. I am not entirely against checkpoints, but my concern is there should be fairness and considerations. If it must be applied, let it be uniform in every region. Of course, there are 6 geopolitical zones according to the arrangements of the Nigerian configuration. But why should a particular region be isolated and treated differently, unfairly by my consideration? And of course, majority of people still share the same sentiments or feelings instead. It's a very disturbing development. For crying loud, they are humans and they deserve to be treated with dignity, respect, and the fundamental human right be respected. We've seen cases where the instruments of the states are now being used as instruments of oppression, subjugation, and harassment of the same citizens? Or are they far less a citizen compared to other regions? Possibly that could be the message they are driving home. Well, that could be too bad if that is the case. Within the same country, as he rightly posed a question, a puzzle for everyone to answer. Are we still at war? Is the war still going on after 58 years of no victor, no vanquish? What informed this position in the first instance? Is it a way of subjugating the people and keeping them perpetually with the mentality of conquered territory or conquest? Well, let's have your own take regarding this development via the comment section. Please don't forget to let us know what is your own position or reaction regarding this. We must provide solution to this. And there's no better time than now because things are getting out of hands. People are losing, of course, their patience and confidence in the sincerity and openness of the government to dispense justice and equality and freedom for all.